Elon Musk's company SpaceX and the creator of ChatGPT OpenAI are both expected to launch their IPOs later this year, and 2026 is expected to be one of the largest years for the most massive IPOs ever seen in history. Now, SpaceX at launch is expected to be valued somewhere around $1.5 trillion. That's trillion with a T. And OpenAI, again, somewhere right around $1 trillion. These are massive numbers. Now, there's a lot of hype around all of these multiple companies about to go live in IPOs later this year. But how does this really affect us individual investors and especially index investors? Believe it or not, we are actually living in an era of one of the largest wealth transfers ever, going from public markets to the private markets. And it's all going to come real this year in 2026 with these IPOs. Now, why should you and I as individual investors really care about these large IPOs coming through, and what changes are we going to really expect in the economy, and how can you position yourself for what's coming later this year? We're going to talk about all of this in today's video. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Abhishek Gadre. I'm a practicing physician, and welcome to the Money Matters MD Show. 2026 is set to be one of the biggest years for IPOs ever. Now, I already talked about SpaceX, there's OpenAI, there's Anthropic, and the list goes on and on. Whether you realize it or not, all your 401ks are actually invested in some type of index fund, most likely, and you will eventually buy into all of these large publicly listed companies once they go public and once they're indexed. Now, you'll ask, what's the real problem with that? The problem is that these companies are getting listed later and later in their life cycle, and the private markets are already capturing most of the gains up front. And once they're already very, very large, that's when they're now going public. Now, this is against what historically other companies like Apple and Amazon have done in the past. Now, your 401k and index funds are very likely to buy into these new IPOs later once they get indexed. And whether you realize it or not, you're going to end up owning these new companies eventually. Now, you'll ask, why does this really matter to you? IPO, or initial public offering, is the very first time these private companies go public and their shares get listed publicly so that you can log into your brokerage account and buy a share if you really want to. Now, eventually, these companies will get listed in indexes, and ETFs and mutual funds will start buying them as well. Now, the problem is IPO essentially the exit for venture capitalists and the large private equity firms who believed in this investment and invested in these companies early on, and now these companies have grown up large and they're going public. They're going to cash out of all the shares that are being sold in the public. Now, these IPOs are often structured to benefit these early investors rather than public investors like you and me. Now, let's look at the stages of development, what a company goes through before they actually get listed on IPO, to understand this process. Now, first comes the pre-seed state, which is when the founders and entrepreneurs are coming up with the idea and validating if the company is even worth investing. Now, this is when most of the angel investors invest in the firms, and typically they're only a few $1 million worth right now. Now, the first seed stage, this is when the venture capital firms come in and the first real investments get started right here. Now, often the founders will still own about 70 to 90% of the investment in the VC seed stage. But as you go further and further, you see Series A, Series B, and Series C. Now, more and more private equity firms are showing up and buying higher and higher share, and the founder's share goes down and down, while the company valuation and size gets bigger and bigger eventually. Now, eventually comes the late stage, or the pre-IPO stage, when the company is preparing to launch the IPO, which is the initial public offering. And then the final stage is IPO, when the public money actually comes in. And that's where these VC firms and PE firms see the exit and cash out on these investments, while investors like you and me hold the bag. Now, investing in IPOs is not necessarily a bad thing, but what's been happening, the trend, is a bit scary and to be aware of. Now, IPOs are happening later and bigger in the stage of a company. What do I mean by that? Let's look at Amazon. Amazon was listed back in 1997. The initial IPO value was around $438 million, not billion or not trillion, $1 million. Now, inflation adjusted, today, the IPO of Amazon would be valued somewhere around $870 million only. And Amazon would list as a small cap company, which is a small size company. Now, Apple went public back in 1980, and its valuation at IPO was around $1.7 billion. It was bigger. And today's inflation-adjusted IPO value would be $6.8 billion, substantially larger than what Amazon was. And Apple, if launching today, would be listed as a mid-cap company. Now compare that to 2026 and OpenAI, which is expected to be valued somewhere around $1 trillion with a T, and likely going to go public on the Nasdaq. And right up front, it will be listed as a mega cap company, not even large cap, mega cap right off the bat at IPO. Now, SpaceX is even bigger. We actually have an expected ticker symbol called SPCX for SpaceX. It's likely to go live on Nasdaq maybe on June 12th. It's not confirmed yet, but that's likely the news. And once it goes live, it's expected to come out around $1.5 trillion valuation right at listing. And it'll also be a mega cap company, not a large cap. It'll be a mega cap company right off the bat. What's the problem with all of this? Most companies in the past were getting listed as small or maybe even mid cap at IPO in the past. Now, at IPO, these companies are going to launch and get listed right in the mega cap. These are essentially going to change what your index investments are going to look like. And your indexes are already super duper top heavy right now in 2026. And they're set to get even more top heavy after the IPOs of OpenAI and SpaceX. Now, if you look at this imaginary graph where the company goes from small all the way to big, in the past, the IPOs were happening somewhere around here. And now the IPOs are happening somewhere around here. So the private markets were only capturing this growth down here in the past until that IPO, and the public was essentially able to capture the future growth of the small company, which is later going to go large and even mega cap. But now, if the company is already listing at the mega cap level, there's not that much growth to be expected later. Now, this is essentially the concept of the wealth transfer I'm talking about, going from the public markets in the past towards the private equity and the venture capital firms. Now, the public investors and index investors are no longer able to access the initial growth phase, which is often the most explosive phase of these IPO offerings. Now that the IPOs are happening very, very late and the companies are often very, very mature. Now, there is disproportionate growth between the private investments versus the public markets. The private sector was somewhere around 3 to 6% of the public sector back in 2005. Now, in 2026, the private sector is a much larger component of the economy, and it weighs somewhere around 22 to 29% of the entire market capitalization of the US market. Now, don't get me wrong, the public market valuations have exploded as well in the last 20 years. And right now, the US equity market is listed somewhere around $69 trillion, depending on where you look. You really can't ignore what's happening in the private markets anymore. And all of those returns in that 20% segment of the economy are just completely kept away from being accessed by the public markets. Now, I'll show you this graph from the World Bank study, which actually shows that the private investments have grown 8 to 9 times more in the last 20 years compared to the public markets. Now, 20 years ago, raising $1 billion for a private company was almost impossible, and they had to go public to see that kind of money and grow their company larger and larger. But in today's world, because the private markets have grown so much, it's not that hard to access that kind of capital. Now, what this essentially means is a couple decades ago, public investors could actually benefit from these explosive growth from these excellent companies in the US. But now, all of that growth is actually being captured by the private markets, and the public investment only comes later, and the expected growth of your investment is not as high as it would have been a couple decades ago. And that is why this is one of the largest migration of corporate growth from the public market to the private market. Now, what is the process between IPO and indexing? Once the company registers on the Nasdaq, let's say, it's going to get registered on the Nasdaq. All the indexes have certain inclusion and exclusion criteria of their own, but some indexes are more loose than others. Now, something like a total US stock market index fund like VTSAX or VTI ETF will include these IPOs much earlier than something a little bit more stringent like S&P 500 funds. Now, a lot of these companies in 2026 like SpaceX and OpenAI are likely to get listed more on Nasdaq than NYSE, and they might end up on ETFs like QQQ early on. Now, the real money in the US economy is, as we all know, is the S&P 500 index. Now, once a company is large enough to be included in the S&P 500 index, the S&P 500 committee actually reviews the inclusion and exclusion criteria. They vote on it, and they decide if the company is worthy to be included in the S&P 500 index. Once it's listed in the index funds and the ETFs mimicking the S&P 500 have to start listing these companies in the investments. And that's when you will start owning these IPOs eventually. And I can't stress this enough. A lot of the growth in these mega cap companies has already happened by the time you actually end up owning it. And what's actually happening is your positions in S&P 500 are already super top heavy. Now the mega cap valuation in the S&P 500 has never been this high. And what's essentially going to happen is your index funds and 401ks and IRAs are going to become more and more top heavy as these IPOs start getting listed. Now, should you go ahead and invest in these IPOs as soon as they come public? Now, there's a lot of research been done around IPO investing and early investing as soon as it is available to public. Some of the IPOs like Amazon and Apple were amazing investments right at IPO. But again, they were smaller companies when they were listed. The question is, when the companies are coming at mega cap at listing, how much growth can you really expect? There likely is going to be a lot of momentum because of the AI craze going on right now. And a lot of the people who believe in Elon Musk, for example, might just go ahead and buy into SpaceX. And people who like ChatGPT will just buy OpenAI. So you can see that momentum factor playing into it initially for sure. Now, the question is what the future earnings of these companies is actually going to look like. Are they going to pay off on the current valuations, what are expected of them? Now, all of these companies are expected to launch at a very high PE ratio, meaning they don't have current earnings which justify their valuation, but they're promising future high earnings for decades to come. And that's what you're prepaying for today in the trust that hopefully these investments today will pay out in the future. Now, if you obsess over financial planning just like me, you will love Bolden.com. It is one of the best softwares out there for financial planning. Now, you can run various scenarios to see if you're ready to retire, and you can even compare how much Roth conversion you need to do. This is an excellent piece of software, and I would highly recommend it. If you're interested in Bolden and you want to support the channel, please click on the affiliate link down in the description below. Now, I've already talked about how the market is getting more and more top heavy. And if you're interested to explore the current market valuations and different parameters to study this in more detail, I made a whole separate video about the AI bubble, which everybody's talking about. I've also made a separate video about recession proofing your portfolio. If you're interested, I'll leave the links to these videos in the description down below. Now, I've talked a lot about IPOs today, but what do we learn from all of this? Now, the risk isn't that IPOs are necessarily bad. The risk is that the IPOs are coming later and larger. And when they do get listed, your investment portfolio is likely to get even more top heavy than it already is. Buying something which is already a $1 trillion valuation or more leaves less room for growth. I want you to assess your own risk appetite and understand that your index investments are getting a little bit more concentrated and top heavy as we move along in the future. All you can do is stay diversified across company sizes, across geographies, and across different investment factors like size, value, growth, momentum, and quality. Now, and maybe if you really want, you could consider adding a little bit of fixed income to your portfolio to add some stability in case the market does crash. Now, just so you know, this is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Now, if you learned something useful today, please subscribe to my channel and like and share this video. It helps a lot. Thank you for watching. Money Matters MD, over and out.